السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله على إحسانه وشكر له على توفيقه وامتنانه، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله تعظيما لشأنه، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله داعي إلى رضوانه وعلى آله وأصحابه وإخوانه. أما بعد، يا من يرى ما في الضمير ويسمع، أنت المعد لكل ما يتوقع، يا من يرجى لشدائد كلها، يا من إليه المشتكى والمفزع، يا من خزائن رزقه في قوله كن أمن فإن الخير عندك أجمع، ما لي سوى فقر إليك وسيلة، فبالافتقار إليك فقر أدفع، ما لي سوى قرع لبابك حيلة، فلئن رددت فأي باب أقرع، وما الذي أدعو وأهتف باسمه إن كان فضلك عن فقيرك يمنع، حاش لمجدك أن تقنط عاصيا، الفضل أجزل والمواهب أوسع. إخواني في الله, we are continuing our lecture series about the history of the Muslims in a very difficult period of genocide and massacre of the Muslims, and this is the events of the 7th century of the Islamic calendar, the events regarding the Mongolians and the Muslims. Ikhwani fillah, we mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ had told us from amongst the signs of the Day of Judgment, he says, لا تقوم الساعة حتى تقاتل تركا. The Day of Judgment will not come until you fight the people of Turkish origin. Then he describes them, he says, حمر الوجوه ظلف الأنف صغار الأعين كأن وجوههم والمجان المطرقة. He says they have a reddish complexion, small eyes, a nose that's big, is wide but small, and number 4, their face is like a beaten up shield. So Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned to us that this group of Turkish origin will harm and destroy the Ummah, and they almost destroyed Islam and Muslims for all of eternity. This is the wrath and the massacre of Muslims at the hands of the Mongolians, the events of the century 700. This is the 7th century of Islam. Khani fillah, we mentioned how Genghis Khan, la'natullah alayhi, the butcher, he massacred from the year 616 of the Hijri calendar, he massacred the city of Bukhara. He massacred the city of Bukhara, Samarkand. Then he went on and massacred other cities of Naysabur, the city of Herat, the city of Marw, and so on. Massacred millions and millions of Muslims in the space of that time, 8 years, until he died, la'natullah, in the year 624 of the Hijri calendar. The year 624 of the Hijri calendar is when Genghis Khan died. This man had 4 sons. He had 4 sons. His firstborn is called Jochi. His secondborn is called Chagatai. His thirdborn is called Ogedei. And the 4th born is called Tolei. Who's memorized? These were his 4 sons. His first, usually in many societies, the person who becomes the leader after the king dies is the firstborn. But the problem with his firstborn, he was born in very questionable circumstances. He was born when his mother Borte was kidnapped by another tribe. Before Genghis Khan became Genghis Khan, his name was Temujin. So they used to have these tribal wars. So one day his tribe is attacked. He manages to escape with some of his soldiers, but his wife, his first wife, Borte, is captured. So Borte is captured for very many months. When she is retrieved later on by Genghis Khan, and the people who have harmed her are boiled and killed by boiling, she gives birth short while later. So there are big question marks about this firstborn son, Jochi. Is he truly the son of Genghis Khan? So the second-born son is called Chagatai. But this Chagatai, every time he is fighting his older brother and saying, you're not legitimate, you're not halal, you're ibn haram, and so on and so forth. So there's a war between these 2 brothers every time, and Genghis Khan is not happy about it. So he prefers that his 3rd son, Ogedei, becomes the leader of the Mongolians. So Genghis Khan, la'natullah, has passed away in the year 624 of the Hijri calendars. It takes about 2 years for the Mongolians. They have a gathering called Kurultai. Kurultai in Mongolia, where all the tribes gather to choose the next Khan of the Mongolians. So from the year 624 to the year 626, they're choosing a new Khan. It's a period of mourning and to choose the next leader of the Mongolians. In this year 626, one of the greatest betrayals in Islamic history occurred. In the year 626, one of the leaders, Al-Kamil Al-Ayyubi, alayhi min Allahi ma yastahiq, he made an agreement with Frederick II, the king of the Roman Empire, and he said to him, I'll give you Jerusalem for free. Take it so you can support me in fighting my brother to conquer most of Syria and Egypt. So this person, he gave, after his grandfather had conquered, Salahuddin al-Ayyubi had conquered Jerusalem after the Crusaders had massacred many of the population of Jerusalem. In the year 586, after the Battle of Hittin, he captured Jerusalem, Al-Quds, and Masjid Aqsa was brought back to the fold of the Muslims. But this man, Al-Kamil Ayyubi, he makes an agreement with Frederick II and he gives Al-Quds, he gives Masjid Aqsa, gives West Jerusalem to the Crusaders. One of the greatest betrayals. And this is something, Khanifillah, that is not allowed for us as Muslims. Sometimes you hear in the news that they speak about a two-state solution for the people of Palestine. Then you hear the Israelis on the side, they're saying, no, there can never be a Palestinian state. It is not allowed for any of us to give a single inch of the land of Palestine to anyone. This is land for the Muslims. It's the waqf from the time of Umar ibn Khattab ila yawm al-qiyamah. لا يحل لأحد أن يتنزل عن شيء من أرض القدس ومن أرض فلسطين. So this happened in the year 626 of the Hijri calendar. Still there is peace. Meantime, that part of the world, the Mongolians are controlling most of Korea, most of China, most of Mongolia, and all the countries that are called Stan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, all the stans, Afghanistan, Pakistan. Then there's this man we mentioned in the previous lecture, Jalaluddin, the son of Muhammad Khwarizm Shah. He is occupying parts of Iran and parts of Azerbaijan and parts of northern Iraq. This is the state in the year 626. There's no war between the Mongolians. So the Mongolians are the Muslims. So the Mongolians, they choose Ogedei Khan as the next leader. He's known as the Kha Khan, or the Kha Khan of the Mongolians, from the year 626 of the Hijri calendar. The year 628 of the Hijri calendar, he decides to launch his war against the Muslims again and conquer the areas that the Muslims had recaptured at the hands of Jalaluddin, the son of Muhammad Khwarizm Shah. So he sends one of his most famous generals. It's called Chormogan Noyan. So Chormogan Noyan, one of the most famous generals in Mongolian history, he comes with an army from the city of Bukhara, the city of Imam Bukhari, and he attacks Iran. And he manages to capture the cities of Isfahan, Ray, Hamadan, Qom. He captures all these areas and he fights Jalaluddin. What does this great leader of the Muslims in that area do? He runs for his life. He runs the same way he ran previously from Pakistan to India, we mentioned. The same way his father ran to that island and died by himself. He ran away for his life. He does not care about the population of the Muslims. He cares to save his life, to live another day. And to live one day of courage, Ikhwanifillah, is better than to live 1,000 days of cowardice and shame. And living a day of courage does not reduce your life by a moment, and living a life of cowardice does not increase your life by a single moment. So he runs away. Where does he run away to? He runs to northern Iraq, to the land of the Kurds. He comes to a village alone, taridan, wahidan, sharidan. No one is accompanying him. He's the most wanted person by the Mongolians. So he comes to a village, he meets a farmer. The farmer is wondering, who is this man that's really having all these jewels and all this wealth? He starts boasting, we don't know who I am. I am the king, Jalaluddin. He says, oh, you're the king, most welcome. Come to my house, you're my guest tonight. So he gives him food, he feeds him, gives him a place to sleep. As he's asleep, he takes an axe and he beheads Jalaluddin Khwarizm Shah. Why? Because this Jalaluddin had killed his brother a few years earlier. So he came to sleep. Sometimes the dua of the person who oppressed, you as a zalim will be brought to that house of the person who oppressed. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَيُمْلِ لِلظَّالِمِ حَتَّى إِذَا أَخَذَهُ لَمْ يُفْلِتْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will continue giving the oppressor time until when it reaches its time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not let that person go. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكَذَلِكَ أَخْذُ رَبِّكَ إِذَا أَخَذَ الْقُرَى وَهِيَ ظَالِمَةٌ إِنَّ أَخْذَهُ أَلِيمٌ شَدِيدٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He takes these oppressors, He takes them in a manner that is humiliating to them, painful to them, very severe to them. So he was killed. His head was taken to the leader of that land. It's called Ashraf al-Adil. And this farmer was paid a lot of money. So the Mongolians, the year 628 and the year 629 of the Hijri calendar, they have taken over back the lands of Iran and Azerbaijan and Tabaristan. All these lands that were taken from them by Jalaluddin. Therein, from the year 629 to the year 634 of the Hijri calendar, 5 years, Turmoil, the son of Noyan, the great general of that area, he decides, I'm not going to fight any more battle. I'm not going to expand the Mongolian Empire any further. Because to the east, the leader Ogedei and his brother Chagatai, they are busy fighting China and Korea. Let them be busy with that. Maybe I'll stabilize this land. In this period, there's not a single Muslim who rebelled against these barbarians and these butchers of Muslims. These people had massacred tens of millions of Muslims. At least 10 to 20 to 30 million Muslims had lost their life from the time of Genghis Khan, and now also his son Ogedei, the son of Genghis Khan. So from the year 629 to the year 634, no war. Thereafter, in the year 634, he started one of the greatest missions in history. He chooses one of the generals. He's called Batu Khan. Batu, the son of Jochi, who was the firstborn of Genghis Khan, the son of Genghis Khan, the son of Isugai. So he chooses Batu Khan for a mission. What is this mission? He wants to conquer all of Russia and all of Europe until the Khan has to reach the Atlantic. From the Atlantic to the Pacific, the Indian Ocean, all this land has to be owned by one family or one group. It has to be under the Mongolians. So here in 634, they launch the expedition. Number one, they conquer Georgia, they conquer Armenia, they conquer all the countries in the Caucasus region, Dagestan, Chechnya, and so on. Thereafter, they enter Russia. They go capture the area until the Volga River. There's a tribe called the Volga Bulgarians. They capture all that. Then they cross the river. They capture cities of Vladimir, of Rostock, until they capture the great city of Moscow, that's the capital city of Russia. From the year 635 to the year 637, in 2 years, they were able to capture the entire of Russia. This Russia, was the reason that Adolf Hitler lost World War II when he started his Operation Barbarossa. Russia is a place that's not friendly weather-wise. It is not friendly in the environment. It's not an easy place to conquer. By some Mongolians who do not care, they'll fight in the deserts, they'll fight in the mountains, they'll fight in the forests, they'll fight in the grasslands. They will destroy anything that stands before their path. And they destroyed Russia and continued their policy of massacring anyone they could find. So they captured Russia in 2 years. How big is Russia? Russia is the biggest country in the entire world. 17,000 square miles. 17,000 square miles. You can take Kenya and put into Russia maybe 40 times. You can take Kenya and put how many Kenyans in Russia? Almost 40 times approximately. You can confirm that later. So he captured the entire of Russia in 635 and 636. Then for 2 years, no more war. Let us stabilize what we have. Or let us stabilize what we have. Then 638, he launches a war into Ukraine. He captures the entire of Ukraine and destroys Kiev, which is the capital city of Ukraine. He destroys it completely. Massacres, destroys the churches, kills, rapes, pillages, does as he's been doing to the Muslim world, the Chinese, he did to the Russians, now he does to the Ukrainians. He captures Ukraine. He sends one of the grandsons of Genghis Khan, Baydar, the son of the second-born Chagatai, the son of Genghis Khan, to conquer Poland. So they conquer Poland. In this same year, 638. They conquer Ukraine. They conquer Poland. Then he sends an army southwards. They conquer the kingdom of Magyar, Hungary. All the Hungary until they reach the capital city of Budapest. All of Eastern Europe, was captured. They captured Serbia. They captured Slovakia. They captured Zagreb, the capital city of Croatia. They captured all this area of the world of Eastern Europe. They reached the borders of Italy, the border of Germany, and the border of Austria. And just a few weeks, they were able to, or they were going to conquer this part of the world. The seat of the Roman Catholicism is in which city? Is in Rome, is in Vatican. Okay, so they are very close to reach the seat of Catholicism. So the whole Western world was shaking fear because of these people. In that same year, the year 639 of the Hijri calendar, news reaches Batu, who was the leader of this expedition, and Subutai, who was also one of the leaders, and they're told the Khan in Mongolia, in Karakorum, has died. Ogedei Khan has died. You have to go, all of you, back to choose the next leader of the Mongolians. So they stopped the expedition. The Christians are happy. They're saying, God has saved us from the Mongolians because of our dua, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. They make a propaganda out of it. So they all go back to Mongolia to choose the next Khan of the Mongolians. In this period of Hanifillah, a lot of things happened. When the Mongolians conquered Europe, they married some of the European princesses and ladies. And these women had an effect on them by making them into Christians. So a number of Mongolians converted to Christianity. As I mentioned previously, Mongolians did not have a religion. They took from every religion. They took some things from Christianity, some things from Buddhism, some things from Islam, and so on and so forth. And they formed their book that was written by Genghis Khan, Yesuha. So they had no religion. But this group married princesses, so Christianity started spreading amongst the Mongolians. So they go back to Karakorum, the capital city of Mongolia, to have another meeting over there, where they're supposed to have the tribal gathering that we mentioned earlier, the Kurultai. So they go to the Kurultai. Who's the next leader? They can't choose a leader immediately. So the widow she's called Khatan Torogen. She becomes the leader of the Mongolians for about 4 or 5 years until they're able to choose the next leader, and the next leader becomes a person called Kyuk. So Kyuk becomes the leader of the Mongolians from the year 639 of the Hijri calendar, him and the mother, until about 645. Then he ruled until 646 or so, about 2-3 years. Then he died. In this period of Hanifillah, this man, he decided, I do not want to expand the land of the Mongolians anymore. Let me stabilize what we have first. Let me stabilize what we have first. So he does not expand. So the Christians in Europe, they see this. So the Pope Innocent IV, he knows, like all the kings of Europe, that the Mongolians is a passing wind. It's not going to harm us anymore. These are just barbarians. They do not have any ideology. They don't have any legacy. They don't have any history. The problem that we have as crusaders, as Christians, is these Muslims who are occupying Spain and Portugal, is these Muslims who are occupying the Holy Lands, Egypt and Syria, mostly the lands of Palestine. So our problem is with the people they called the Saracens, or the Sarakiyun. They call us, if you look at the books, they call us Saracens. I wonder what is Saracens? Our name is Muslims. Find later on in history, they call you Mohammedans, or they call you Muslims. They don't give you the correct name that you are. We call them Christians, but they can't call us as they call us Saracens or Sarakiyun, people who have stolen. Or they call us Mohammedans, like we worship Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam. Or they call us Muslims, Muslim, or people who are living in a dark age or oppressors. So they always give us names. But it's something standard. Even the Prophet alayhi salam used to be called Mudhammam. They used to call Prophet Muhammad Mudhammam during the days of Quraysh. So he sends Pope Innocent IV, he sends an envoy. He's called Giovanni Carpini, all the way from Rome to Karakorum. A distance of 3 months, a distance of 12,000 kilometers. So he comes all the way to Karakorum to meet the new Khan, who is called Kyuk, the son of Ogedei, the son of Genghis Khan. So he says to Kiyuk, number one, I want us to make an alliance and we fight the Muslims and we liberate the Holy Lands from the Muslims. Our war is not against the Mongolians. We want to fight the Muslims. Subhanallah. Short while, did we speak about a few moments ago how the Mongolians massacred Christians in Russia? How they massacred Christians in Ukraine, in Poland, in Hungary, all this area of the world. They do not want to ask about justice for the Christians who are massacred, because those Christians, most of them are not Catholics, number one, they're Orthodox. And number two, our hate for the Muslims is greater than our love for our fellow Christians. Are you together? The same way you can see right now in Palestine, their hate for the Muslims is greater than their love for their so-called hostages. Are you clear about this? And their hate of Islam will not end until they meet the grave. It will not end. Where was I? So the envoy number one says, let us form an alliance to attack the Muslims. Number two, oh great leader of Mongolians, call you to be a Christian. I call you to be saved, to follow the teachings of our Lord and our Savior. And you know what they say. So Kiyuk gets insulted. I am the leader of the world. A ruler that's ruling all the way from Ukraine to Poland, Ukraine to the east, all the way to the west in Poland, the north up to Siberia, the south until the South China Sea, yet you call me to your religion. What an insult. And number two, you're calling me to be an ally. I do not understand this language of ally. Either you're with me or you're against me. Either you're my follower or you're not my follower. I don't understand this language that you're talking to me. So the Christians were not successful in this campaign of calling Kiyuk to join their expedition against the Muslims. But they did not give up. Pope Innocent sent a second delegation to one of the generals of Azerbaijan. It's called Beiju. Says to Beiju, please, you guys help us attack the Muslims in Egypt and Syria. Therein it will be easy for you to conquer the Islamic Khilafah. Be easier to conquer the Caliphate. So help us in this. Says Beiji, I don't have any rule. Let me go talk to our leader Kiyuk, and if Kiyuk agrees, then we'll go ahead. He goes, is not successful. He does not give up. For benefit, in the year 640 of the Hijri calendar, the Khalifa al-Mustansir Billah, he died. And the new Khalifa of the Muslims is a man called al-Mustahsim Billah, who became the Khalifa in the year 640 of the Hijri calendar at the age of 30, and is the last Khalifa of the Muslims in the history, or the last Khalifa of the Abbasids, of the Dawla al-Abbasiyah. He took over in the year 640 until the year 656 that we're going to mention in the forthcoming lecture. So he's not able to convince him. The Christians don't give up. They send another delegation, with Giovanni Carbini again, or Marco Polo. Also for benefit, when you studied history in school, you're told that Christopher Columbus discovered America. Nonsense. They tell you about the great discoverers, people like Vasco da Gama. You go to the coast, you find Vasco da Gama. Or they tell you people like Marco Polo. All these great discoverers, if you look at the history, you'll find all of them, they were criminals and enemies of Islam most of the time. The reason that led them to discover these lands is they were looking for a pathway, many of them, to the city of Mecca to destroy Mecca. Because they could not cross the Mediterranean Sea, the sea that was known as the Sea of Muslims, so they tried adventuring through South Africa or through North America, South America, to look for a way, not only for spices as they claimed, but also to destroy the heartland of Muslims, the city of Mecca and the city of Medina. So he sent another delegation, this time sent by the King of France. The King of France is called Louis the Ninth. So Louis the Ninth sends a delegation to Karakorum in the year 646 of the Hijri calendar, assist us once again to destroy the Muslims, to fight the Muslims, to launch the 7th crusade against the Muslims. When he reaches Karakorum, news reaches him that the great Khan, Kyuk, has passed away. So Kyuk was the leader of the Mongolians from the year 639, him and his mother, to the year 646 of the Hijri calendar. The Christians, we'll talk about later, they launched their crusade in the year 647 of the Hijri calendar, and they conquered parts of Egypt, Dimyat, and they reached Mansura and so on. We shall talk about that later. From the year 646 to the year 649 of the Hijri calendar, the Mongolians had no leader. So before they choose a new leader, there's a mourning period, there's a period of discussion and so on, before they call their meeting. It's called the Kurultai. So this took 3 years. These 3 years, the leader of the Mongolians was a woman, the wife of the leader who died. She's called Olga Kimish. So she ruled this land for those 3 years. Christians are still trying to encourage her to launch crusades against the Muslims. Then the year 649 of the Hijri calendar came. This woman, she was deposed, she was killed, and a new leader, a fanatic, a crazy man, became the leader of the Mongolians in the year 649 of the Hijri calendar. It's called Mongke Khan, the son of Tolei, the son of Genghis Khan. As we mentioned, Genghis Khan had 4 sons. His last born, Tolei, was one of the most brutal of all of them. He massacred the state of Khorasan. We mentioned Naysabur, Mar, the one who killed millions and millions of Muslims is Tolei. His children, his 3 children, also genocidal. They massacred a lot of people, mostly Muslims. The first one is this leader, Mongke Khan. The second one is Kublai Khan, who's going to be the leader after Mongke Khan. And the third, the one the Muslims hate the most, the ones the Arabs hate the most, the one who destroyed the Khalifa, Hulagu Khan. So the new leader of the Mongolians from the year 649 of the Hijri calendar, the one who's going to destroy the Khilafah al-Islamiyya, he took over. What preparations did he make to destroy the Khalifa? What actions did he take? What alliances did he form to destroy the Islamic Caliphate? This is what we shall look at in the forthcoming lecture tomorrow. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alameen.